Summer band camp is a crazy 2 weeks.
Back, turn to the right and flat back.
Long hours and just putting in the work for this season.
It was really hot yesterday. We had a high of what was that, like 85, 90?
Out on the field, sometimes it can be 110. You just kind of have to push through it.
Basically just training fundamentals in band.
This week we're starting to learn drill and choreography and knowing where we are for each part.
We got to work on marching, playing, and then we try to put it together towards the end.
This is something you cannot do by yourself, so you are completely reliant upon other people to do this with you.
It's a hard lesson. It's not really fun when you go through it, but what a powerful lesson it is.
Once you start the momentum, it just flies by.
We all want to go again. We all want to have a second chance. It was so fun.
You're coming together to do something bigger than yourself and to perform a show for a bunch of people.
Different group of students, different show, different music, but we're looking to have the same impact that we can create together.
Once again, it's high school championship season here in Colorado, but have you ever thought about all the hard work and dedication it takes to get ready to compete? Before the first bell, before their first test, students were on the gridirons getting ready for their upcoming season. But these students aren't who you think they are. These students are marching band members. Hi, I'm your host Byron Reed, and our show Hearts of Champions Marching Across Colorado is meant to give some insight into how some Colorado marching bands are preparing for this season after setting historic milestones for their music programs last year. Across Colorado, marching bands were practicing at summer band camps in preparation for this season after finishing on a high note last year. Some continued their legacy of winning state titles, and others were making school history. The seniors in the band started their freshman year during the pandemic, and now their band directors want to make their final year a memorable one.
I hope they walk off the field with just that sense of joy and that feeling of accomplishment that they have put in all this hard work, and now they've been able to share that with an audience who loves what they're doing.
We want to do the same or better, and so we've kind of started with that benchmark in mind to say if that's what we did last year, can we do the same thing this year?
So once again, I packed up my gear and traveled across the state to summer high school band camps. These 2-week camps usually happen in the grueling heat over the summer, where students learn how to march, play their instruments, dance and spin flags for their competitive show. I wanted to see how these Colorado marching bands are getting in step with what it takes to have the hearts of champions. A legacy of hard work and dedication can be found on football fields across Colorado.
Out on the field, sometimes it can be 110. You just kind of have to push through it.
It's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it in the end.
You need to have like that good core muscle. You need to have good lung strength.
A growing tradition these students take seriously.
It's just being in a group of people who are all grinding and doing the same thing as you, all working for a big thing.
Learning how to survive and maybe thrive in situations that aren't exactly the way you want them to be.
This year, high schoolers are working hard to make their own history.
Honestly, our main goal is just to improve from last year.
By winning a state title in the fall.
If we just keep consistent how we're going, I feel like we could get all the way.
And last year, it was exponential, and hopefully we stay on that track this year.
And 5, 6.
But this isn't a tryout for any team sport. This is band camp.
Summer band camp is a crazy 2 weeks.
For our first week, we're kind of learning how to march together, getting to know each other. And then this week, we're starting to learn drill and choreography.
And we turned them into essentially a big family who, moves together, plays together, breathes together.
These seniors have seen it all from the pandemic.
Like my freshman year was not too good because, COVID. And we started as the COVID freshmen.
It was just suffocating. And not being able to go out and do the things I love to do, including marching band.
6, 7, 8.
Now these band directors want their students to leave with lifelong memories.
I hope they walk off the field with just that sense of joy and that feeling of accomplishment.
I really want them to remember day 1 and 2 of band camp, especially the freshmen and sophomores of, there's no way I can do this.
I want them to take away an amazing experience that they shared together.
And
band after their competitive season last year.
That was the first time our school ever went to state and everything, and it was the best feeling ever.
We were first in our division.
Last year we got, I believe, 6th place at finals, which is the highest our marching band has ever scored.
Last year we just marched for exhibition because it was our very first year out at competition.
These marching members are motivated to create their own legacies by getting in step with what it takes to have hearts of champions.
Definitely, I really enjoy being a part of this legacy. I'm happy that I get to present myself in such a respectful way to other people.
It's a thing that you can't describe the energy that sort of comes from it. It's completely unique.
I don't want us to have any regrets on our final performance.
And coming up next,
the first stop on our Hearts of Champions tour takes us to Henderson, Colorado.
The best way I like to describe it is it's a week or 2 weeks where your entire day is just devoted to band.
Where this marching band is hoping to qualify for the state championships for the first time in back-to-back years. And students in Colorado Springs have been hard at work in hopes of taking home another championship.
I would say it's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it in the end.
The Classical Academy High School is looking to bring home their 3rd state championship title.
welcome back to our show. As the new school year got underway, most students were in classrooms learning about math or science. But for a small marching band out of Henderson, Colorado, learning lifelong lessons started last year on the practice field. On the first stop of our Hearts of Champions tour, we visited the Prairie View High School Marching Thunderhawks, where they are gaining knowledge for a championship run.
Touch, 1 cross 2.
Part of the curriculum at Prairie View High School is a lesson in overcoming adversity.
Out on the field, sometimes it can be an 110, you just kind of have to push through it.
5, 6.
Alex Francis Kujawa is a junior and the mellophone section leader for the high school's Thunderhawk Marching Band, a group of about 42 members putting in hard work at their summer band camp to get ready for their competitive season.
This is our 3rd day of band camp, so we're getting more into the technical part.
We're starting to learn drill and choreography and knowing where we are for each part, so it's really fun this year.
These students are learning the basics of marching before their first bell.
So being able to teach these people from day one and watch them grow is actually really enjoying for me, and seeing them accomplish so much is really it really hits the heart.
They say last year at this time, they were getting a new lesson on facing their challenges.
We had the original director for the first couple weeks of school.
We got a new director for around 3 weeks, and then he moved.
And then we had Mr. Solis come in. It was a very hard season because we had 3 directors. They all wanted different things.
Armando Solis is now in his 2nd year as the director of bands for the high school. He says it was a learning experience for everyone.
We took this show that was worked on by one director, and then the next director, and then we took it over, all new staff, and the kids, were amazing, and they just rolled with all the punches.
Last year, this marching band accomplished a personal goal by qualifying for the 4A state championships for the first time.
That was the first time our school ever went to state and everything, and it was the best feeling ever.
That was crazy because we've always kind of been forgotten in the marching band sense because we're so small.
This year, they're competing in the 5A state category, but these marching members say even though their numbers are small,
yeah, we are a 5A band because it's by school size and not band size.
They're looking forward to the challenge.
The nice part about having some of the smaller bands is we can work on some of the fine-tuning stuff that can help us do better than some of the bigger 100, 200 person band.
The hope is to give Alex and his classmates a lesson they can use.
We're trying to make sure that everyone understands the basics before we get on the field,
as they try to make it back to the state championship.
If we just keep consistent how we're going, I feel like we could get all the way.
And it was the best feeling ever. It's we all want to go again. We all want to have a second chance. It was so fun.
I don't want us to have any regrets on our final performance.
The definition of a journey is the act of traveling from one point to another. But for high school marching band students, that's just simply learning drill. On the second stop of our tour, we visited the Classical Academy High School in Colorado Springs, one of the few charter schools in the state to field a competitive marching band. I wanted to find out how they've been creating their own path to success for more than 20 years.
For high school students in Colorado Springs, the journey to success starts on the practice field.
I would say so. I think it takes a lot of work.
It's a task senior Corinne Thornton has grown to love.
I think it's cool to see where you go from the beginning to the end and be like, I started all the way over there and now I'm here somehow.
Inside is always towards the 50.
Corinne is a saxophone player learning her drill formations for the Classical Academy High School Marching Band. The group's 112 members are putting one foot in front of the other, hoping to bring home their third straight state title in the fall. Corinne says this year will be special because of her older brother.
We got state champions my sophomore year as well, which my brother was in the band at the time too, so it was really meaningful to win that with him.
5, 6, 7, go!
Christina Schwartz-Soper is the band director for the Classical Academy.
This will be my 21st year.
And took over the school's competitive marching program in 2006. She says this marching band has been on a quest of its own.
It's just so multifaceted that watching our journey has just been a blessing.
Last year, this marching band claimed the 2A state championship title, their second in 2 years.
3, 4.
This year, they're working hard to stay on track.
We gotta go back over the basics of marching for those of us who've forgotten and teach the freshmen.
Learning how to survive and maybe thrive in situations that aren't exactly the way you want them to be. I really want them to remember day 1 and 2 of band camp, especially the freshmen and sophomores of, there's no way I can do this. There's so much to learn. There's so much I don't know. There's so much I don't feel successful at right now. And then to realize they went through this journey and they are successful. It's a hard lesson. It's not really fun when you go through it, but what a powerful lesson it is.
Corinne says she'll be sad after the final note is played.
Oh, I'm gonna be crying so much. I cried so much my sophomore year.
Because this year, her journey is for family.
He was definitely the reason I started band in 7th grade, and I think he was a huge part of the reason I stayed with it. It's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it in the end.
And coming up next,
a marching band in Wheat Ridge is bringing back their competitive spirit.
Last year we just marched for exhibition because it was our very first year out at competitions, and I wanted to give the kids the experience of what it was going to be like.
Students at Wheat Ridge High School are finally taking the field for competition after more than a decade away.
welcome back to our show. Wheat Ridge High School used to have a highly competitive marching band more than a decade ago, and now they're bringing that competitive spirit back. On the third stop of our Hearts of Champions tour, we visited the Wheat Ridge High School Farmer Pride Marching Band, where they're kicking off a new era of competition.
Sometimes the greatest stories don't stay in the classroom.
It's pretty difficult when, you're trying to get a very good visual across to storytell.
Sometimes they strike between the sidelines of a football field.
We are sailors, and we're sailing on a ship, and we get caught by a siren, and we have to, defeat the siren. And turn, 2, 3, 4, and hold.
Taylor Bills is the drum major for the Wheat Ridge High School Marching Band with her own story to tell.
My freshman year was not too good because, COVID. And we started as the COVID freshmen. It was really rough. I remember doing Zoom classes and practicing.
She says these days the marching band is a place where she feels at home.
Sometimes communities are hostile, and the communities I'm in are kind of iffy with that. So I'd say that this community is definitely my main community, and I'm very happy to be here.
Bills and the group of marching members are getting ready for their upcoming competitive season during their summer band camp.
This year we're going for ratings and rankings. We will find out our scores and be ranked along with the other bands.
Kendra Graff is the band director for Wheat Ridge High School. She says she's hoping to restore the music program to its former glory.
Wheat Ridge used to have a competitive marching band about 15 years ago, I think, maybe 10, but it's been quite a while. So we're bringing it back. Back in 2019, it was about 40 students, and then when the pandemic hit, it went down to about 18. We just had a lot of students who weren't able to participate, and then we've been slowly building up since then.
Last year, this 4A marching band didn't compete for a score. This year, the group of about 35 members is focused on writing a new chapter.
I hope they walk off the field with just that sense of joy and that feeling of accomplishment.
I really enjoy being a part of this legacy. I'm happy that I get to present myself in such a respectful way to other people.
And I love the fact that I get to be with students for a full 4 years, because you really get to see them come in as those 14-year-olds. They're very young, they're they're uncertain, they're kind of shy. And then as they gain that experience and they start heading toward adulthood, it's amazing to watch that transformation. Chords up!
It's a story Taylor and her classmates are proud to be part of.
It's gonna feel blissful, and I think I'm gonna cry really hard because this is my home.
And no matter how it ends this year, they know there's no place like home.
We do work together really well, and we are family. We take care of each other, we help each other nonetheless, which is a bond that I really value.
And coming up next,
You can't describe the energy that sort of comes from it. It's completely unique.
The Littleton High School Marching Band brought all the energy during this year's finals. They were trying to beat a personal best with the community support that helps keep their tempo.
welcome back to our show. Students with the determination to make a difference is part of the growing pride they have for their school. And for marching band members in Littleton, their determination paid off last year with a historic state championship run. On the final stop of our Hearts of Champions tour, we visited the Pride of Littleton High School Marching Band, where community spirit runs deep.
Putting in long hours and getting ready for their season.
But today we just have our routine band camp. Usually goes on from like 1 to 8:30.
Is part of what makes members of this marching band proud.
So I say my favorite part is just everyone grinding to put a hard work in and seeing everything kind of come together.
John Kieran is a senior at Littleton High School and plays tuba for the Pride of Littleton Marching Band, a group of about 90 students marching, playing, spinning flags, and learning drill for their competitive season. It's that school spirit John often heard about growing up thousands of miles away.
I lived in the Philippines for 8 years and lived in India, and my dad would always tell me about his stories in marching band from high school, and it got me super excited about it. So I decided to try my first year here at Littleton High School, and I've been hooked ever since.
The biggest factor is watching students grow from point A to point B, and that's what we're most proud about with our kids.
Don Emmons has been the band director for the high school for the past 28 years. He says when he took over, the program only had 20 students. Now they've grown into a marching band that's getting recognition.
We did great last year. We had our best season ever, and we achieved our highest scores ever, our highest placement ever, made it to the state finals down at the Air Force Academy.
Last year, this group represented their community well by competing for the 4A state title in Colorado Springs and setting a new milestone along the way.
Last year we got 6th place at finals.
We placed the highest we ever placed. We made finals for the first time ever in the history of the Pride of Littleton. It was huge last year.
Just felt super good to have everything finally come together and have that one show that, came together and scored an 80, the highest our school's ever done.
It's a feeling they're hoping to carry over into this season.
The sense of completing a show at state at the end of the year, and that feeling of pride and accomplishment and togetherness, because it's something that you can't do by yourself.
The goal for this marching band is to do the best for their community.
It's crazy to see how many people come out for marching band competitions, and it's always super encouraging.
So members like John can have a sense of pride when talking to family back home.
I'll show my family that's still over there, and they all just want to come over and see it, right?
Our philosophy here is to get as many kids involved as possible, and then to really give them an opportunity to realize their potential as strong as possible.
You can't describe the energy that sort of comes from it. It's completely unique.
And the Classical Academy High School achieved their goal this year by winning the Colorado Bandmasters Association's 2A state title. Congratulations to them and all the state's marching bands for a successful season.
We hope the show is giving you some perspective into how these Colorado marching bands are making historic impacts and shed some light on the students most only see perform at halftime on Friday nights. On behalf of drone pilot Tom Cole and myself, thanks for joining us for another season.